Something like that, or was that you? Anyhow, I remember it being said that one isn't allowed to build, settle, and live in areas endangered by water or landslides. Quetzal says of course, but these are entirely of a purely natural form. Through such natural events, also no harm is caused to the people and their possessions, and thus, no human casualties or deaths are caused by such. We also have floods, steppe fires, and forest fires, as well as landslides, etc. on our worlds, but these events are all of a natural form and without any influences by the people. With us, natural disasters also never threaten, which would be hazardous or harmful to humans, because one isn't permitted to build homes or other buildings, etc. in lowlands, meadow plains or deforested meadow woods, near places that are threatened by avalanches or mountain slides, or even to live in plains that could be threatened by floods. Also directly beside lakes and seas or rivers and streams, etc., one isn't permitted to build houses or other buildings and to live there. With waters such as seas, lakes, rivers, brooks, and streams, etc., a great minimum height above the water level must always be kept, which must be measured in such a way that even waves that are many meters high can't cause any damage or claim human lives. Billy says yes, that was it. Thanks. But now, I would like to ask you something again, which you must answer me as a doctor. It concerns the immune system of human beings, which is supposed to be aligned specifically, as you once explained. What's this all about, really? Quetzal says with the immune system, it concerns a complex functional system for the preservation of the individual structure as well as for the defense against substances, etc., that are of an exogenous nature. Furthermore, it also has the function of a continuous elimination of abnormal somatic cells, such as malignantly and, thus, viciously degenerated cells. This is known as immune surveillance. Also involved in this are the organs of the lymphatic system, distributed throughout the cells and molecules of the entire organism, and in particular, the leukocytes are to be mentioned. Contrary to the erroneous opinion of the earthly medical sciences, the defense mechanisms of the immune system that is innate to the human being are aligned specifically, as this is also true of the acquired and natural immune system. Always in accordance with the defense mechanisms, both the innate as well as the acquired immune system produce specific antibodies, resulting in either an immunity against certain pathogens or a defensive reaction, whereby killer cells carry out the defense work and the immune work. The entire immune system of an innate, acquired, and natural form, which is owned by all vertebrate life forms, is specifically designed in every respect. So therefore, for every kind of pathogen and other health hazardous element, etc., specific defense factors are given. Nevertheless, it is also given that some defensive elements are responsible for multiple pathogens or other health hazardous factors and substances, etc. Billy says with the different epidemics and diseases appearing in the coming time, the immune system in humans, however, will often or even completely fail, as you already explained before, like the epidemic that's been known by America as AIDS since 1981 and the resulting varieties. Furthermore, I remember the name Ebola virus as well as the Legionnaire's disease that appeared for the first time in America in 1976 and something that you called the Nile epidemic or something similar. Also, you said that tuberculosis and plague as well as cholera, etc., will spread again. Quetzal says the name was West Nile virus, an epidemic that will be introduced to America and spread itself there. Nevertheless, many other diseases and epidemics will still appear all over the world, and indeed even those which have been regarded as eradicated up to now, as I have actually explained. Certain names and designations for diseases and epidemics will first be created, however, in the coming time, and to be sure, when these appear. At later times, diseases and epidemics from outer space and from other planets and moons will also be introduced on the Earth through the Earth people. Billy says this will hardly be able to be avoided, Despite all precautionary measures, if the scientists don't find better ways than before to prevent the introduction of extraterrestrial bacteria and viruses and other microorganisms, etc., introductions and deposits of alien microorganisms and many other things of all kinds can also occur, however, through asteroids and meteors, which crash down on the Earth, as well as through comets' tails into whose immediate area the Earth comes. But finally, clouds of microorganisms must also be taken into consideration, which drift through space and arrive into the area of our planet and penetrate down to the surface and even into the soil. At least, that's how I understood Svarth's explanations in my boyhood. Quetzal says that is correct. Billy says the calic tree, which is, indeed, extinct, was an enormous acacia tree, under which a small village found a good place. What, however, is the so-called Moringa tree, of which you once spoke and of which you said that it would one day become of great importance for the Earth person? To this day, I still haven't heard or read anything about this tree or its fruits and seeds being used in some way. Quetzal says with the Moringa tree, it concerns a so-called medicinal tree, which grows extremely quickly, about 3 meters in height per year. The tree mainly grows in South Asia and in North Africa and contains active ingredients that can be used by the Earth people against anemia as well as against hypertension and diabetes. The various active ingredients, however, can also be used for the building and strengthening of the immune system. The related building of the immune defense strengthening can also provide, among many other possibilities, a successful means against AIDS. The varieties of the tree also provide further food for humans and animals, whereby the nutrients are extremely rich in vitamin C and calcium. In addition, the seeds of the Moringa trees are extremely oily, whereby the oil can be used, among various other possibilities, as a lubricant and as fuel for machinery. Furthermore, dirty water can also be cleaned with the seeds of the tree, and indeed, very much better than what any chemical can do. All of these things, nevertheless, aren't the only possibilities and benefits that this tree and its seeds and fruits provide, for there are still several more. Billy says that is interesting. Then one can also hope that a certain progress develops from this in some way for the Earth people. Quetzal says as our probability calculations yield, that will actually be the case. Billy says since we're already talking about large trees, I would like to ask you a question about the dinosaurs again. Which ones were the largest and where did they live? Quetzal says the largest plant-eating dinosaurs lived in what is now Patagonia. These were the so-called long-necked dinosaurs, whose largest specimens reached up to 60 meters in length and exhibited a weight of around 135 tons. This was the largest land animal that ever existed on the Earth. Billy says, and what about the time when did these animals live, and were there any predatory dinosaurs that killed these magnificent animals? Have any skeletons, etc. of such giant beasts already been found by the earthly paleontologists? Quetzal says to my knowledge, still no such findings have been made by the earthly paleontologists. And as for the time when these giant animals lived, this must have been, to my knowledge, around 100 million years ago. The long-necked dinosaurs possessed tails that were about as long as their necks were to their heads. At the same time, there also lived giant predatory dinosaurs, which we call Titan predatory dinosaurs or Titans predatory dinosaurs, which had a size of up to 19 meters. Billy says thus, so to speak, a Tyranno-Titanosaurus emperor, if I may translate that so freely. So a creature that must have been a lot larger than the Tyrannosaurus rex. But how was it now? Did these gigantic predatory dinosaurs also hunt the giant long-necked dinosaurs? If so, how did this happen? It is always claimed by our earthly scientists that the large predatory dinosaurs, even the great Tyrannosaurus rex, were loners and also would have hunted as such. I can't understand that and, thus, can't accept it as given. For if these beasts actually hunted the giant herbivores, which I strongly accept, then they couldn't have reliably done so as individual hunters because they would have had no chance against the giant animals. Thus,